I remember the exact words. Either share it or you're no longer my child. My parents didn't even blink when they said it. My own flesh and blood, the people who raised me, suddenly drew a line in the sand. All because of one thing, the building my grandfather left me. The old brick structure downtown. Weathered, creaking, but strong. He left it solely to me in his will. Not my siblings, not my parents, me. He said I was the only one who visited him when he was sick, the only one who saw value beyond money. I thought my parents would understand. I thought blood would protect me. Instead, they sharpened it into a blade. At first, I blamed myself for being naive. I replayed every childhood moment. My father's lectures about loyalty, my mother's warm smiles. How many of those smiles were rehearsed? How many of those lectures were warnings in disguise? The truth hit like glass breaking in my chest. Their love had conditions, and I had just broken one. The betrayal didn't reveal itself all at once. It came in whispers. A cousin letting slip that my parents had been asking around for property lawyers. My brother's sudden uninvited visit, pretending it was casual, but his eyes roamed every corner of the building, calculating. Then one night, I overheard my parents speaking in the kitchen. They thought I was asleep. She's being selfish. If she doesn't share, we'll force her hand. We'll drag her to court. She won't last a month against us. It wasn't about family anymore. It was about control. They wanted to take what wasn't theirs and teach me a lesson for daring to defy them. My chest went hollow, then cold, then sharp. If they wanted war, they would get it, but on my terms. I didn't lash out. I didn't confront them. Instead, I smiled, nodded, pretended to waver. I let them believe their pressure was working. Meanwhile, I prepared. First, I went to a lawyer of my own, quietly. I asked him to handle the sale in absolute secrecy. No family, no friends, not even my siblings could know. The paperwork was drawn up fast. The ink dried before my parents even suspected. But here's where I was careful. I didn't sell it to just anyone. I had a buyer in mind. Someone who would never, under any circumstances, allow my parents a foothold in that building. I sold it to an organization my parents despised, one they had insulted for years, people they considered beneath them, a community group that took in immigrants, low-income families, people my parents mocked at dinner tables. The group had been struggling to find space. My building became their fortress, and they paid me well for it, enough to cut ties cleanly. By the time my parents were sharpening their knives, the deed was already out of my hands. The day came when they arrived. My parents, my brother, my sister, all dressed in crisp clothes, smug with anticipation. They brought a lawyer and a realtor. I could see the hunger in their eyes, the hunger of people who thought they were walking into victory. They didn't know the papers were already signed. I followed silently as the realtor opened the heavy wooden door. The hallway was alive with sound, children laughing, mothers chatting in a dozen different languages, men repairing furniture in the corner. The scent of fresh bread drifted through the air. My parents froze. Their lawyer blinked. Then, from the second-floor balcony, one of the women waved down warmly, the leader of the community group. She introduced herself proudly, thanking me for helping them finally find a safe space. That's when it happened. My parents screamed, not in pain, in rage. "What have you done?" my father barked, his voice shaking the walls. My mother's face twisted with disgust, her eyes darting from the families to me, as if I had defiled the building. The lawyer tried to calm them, asking for clarification. That's when I pulled out the envelope, the copy of the finalized sale agreement. I handed it to him directly. "It's not mine anymore," I said evenly, "and it never will be yours." The silence after was electric. My brother swore under his breath. My sister's eyes watered, not from pity, but from the realization that the game was over. My parents turned on me then. Their words cut deep, threats of disownment, curses spat with venom. But none of it mattered. Because in that moment, I wasn't their child begging for approval. I was the woman who outplayed them. The community leader put her hand on my shoulder. "You did the right thing," she said softly, but loud enough for my parents to hear. I let that sentence hang in the air like a gavel slamming down. After that, they left in a fury. The realtor stormed out, realizing there was nothing to sell. The lawyer shook his head, muttering about wasted time. My parents walked stiffly, like statues cracking under pressure. But before my father stepped outside, he turned back one last time. His eyes burned. "You're no longer my daughter." I didn't flinch. I only replied, "Then you finally said it out loud." In the days that followed, the silence was deafening. No calls, no visits, just absence. I thought it would break me. Instead, it set me free. For once, I wasn't weighed down by their conditions, their ultimatums, their endless grasping hands. I had cut the rope, and they had fallen into the void they built for themselves. Sometimes I walk by the building at night. Lights glow warmly from every window. Families gather inside, laughing, alive. My grandfather would have been proud. It wasn't just a building anymore. It was a home for those who needed it most. My family sees it as betrayal. I see it as justice. They wanted to use me as their pawn. Instead, I played them to checkmate. And when I close my eyes at night, I hear my father's voice echoing in fury, my mother's scream of shock. It doesn't haunt me, it soothes me. Because in their screams, I found my freedom.